pretty good. But Urban hasn't named the Jags' first overall pick the starter, admitting on Thursday that competition for the starting job between Lawrence and Gardner Minshew is still open. Got to bring in Fox NFL analyst and new member of the Jaguars broadcast team. All right, Bucky Brooks. Congrats on the new role, Bucky. But Acho, should Urban Meyer name Trevor Lawrence the starting quarterback right now?
The shadow that is Bucky Brooks.
Yeah, I'm about to say, all I see is teal.
Ladies and gentlemen.
All I see is teal.
He's welcome.
No matter what.
Bucky Brooks.
Look at him. Trying to act like he's busy, too. He's got a fake calendar. You ain't doing nothing this month. Look at that bottom. Fake calendar.
Anyway, I will. I'll save and spare you, Bucky, of the shade. Yes, Urban Meyer needs to name Trevor Lawrence the starter immediately. And I'm going to make this simple. I'm going to lead with my headline. What are the quarterback competitions currently in the National Football League? Let's start with the obvious. Jimmy G and Lance.
Trey Lance.
Well, Trey Lance, Jimmy G. Jimmy G has been to a Super Bowl. Okay, let's move on. Cam Newton, Mac Jones. Well, Cam Newton has been a league MVP. Okay, let's move on. Throw in Andy Dalton and Justin Fields, if you will. Well, Andy Dalton has been to 3 Pro Bowls. Okay, let's move on. Let's talk about the Saints. Taysom Hill, Jameis Winston. Jameis Winston, for all it's worth, is one of only 8 quarterbacks in NFL history to pass for 5,000 yards in a season, with the likes of Peyton Manning, Tom Brady, Drew Brees, Matthew Stafford, etc. And then there's Trevor Lawrence and Gardner Minshew. Gardner Minshew is 7-13 as a starter. Gardner Minshew has made no Pro Bowls. Gardner Minshew has never had a record over 500. So to compete with Gardner Minshew makes no sense, and it's so illogical, it's so asinine that it's now laughable. I understand a competition with the likes of Jimmy G, a Super Bowl starting quarterback, with Cam Newton, a league MVP, with Jameis Winston, somebody who's thrown for 5,000 yards. But why in God's name would you have Trevor Lawrence competing with Gardner Minshew? Now, statistically, Gardner Minshew is no joke. 37 touchdowns to 11 career interceptions currently. That is great, particularly for the NFL. Kudos to him. But Gardner Minshew ain't no Super Bowl type of quarterback, and it might be the Jags' fault, it might be his fault. Regardless, it's the truth. Trevor Lawrence doesn't need to be competing. He should be named the starter immediately.
Look, I agree with you that Trevor Lawrence should be the starting quarterback, but he has to go through the rite of passage to be the starting quarterback. Acho, I remember when you went to Texas and you showed up the first day and they put Acho on your helmet. You think the coaches didn't know your name? No, there's things that we do in football that are routine and ritual. That's part of the deal.
Fair.
And what Urban Meyer wants to do in Jacksonville is make sure that Trevor Lawrence earns the right to be the starting quarterback. And the only way you can earn the right is to make sure that, look, it's undisputed. There's no doubt that he is the starting quarterback based on his performance. And so when he does those things and he puts together a few performances, I don't think Urban Meyer will have any problem naming him the starter. But if you stand in front of the room and you talk about all jobs being earned and this being the ultimate meritocracy, you got to put your QB1 through the same things that you put everybody else through.
Oh, man, Bucky, I love you, big dog. Congratulations on the new gig down there. Tell everybody you know me and watch how they treat you, because Duval's in the building. I got nothing but love for J-Ville. This is not a competition, and Urban Meyer needs to get to the point, which is Trevor Lawrence is our starting quarterback so we can start to follow our leader. Here's the thing. I'm not even going to come up here and really trash Gardner Minshew because he's not trash. Gardner Minshew could play. Gardner Minshew got some numbers that could support why he's in this competition, especially his touchdown-to-interception ratio. 37 touchdowns, 11 interceptions in 2 years of playing football. Interesting. But in Jacksonville, since I played there, and in Jacksonville because they only have 1 playoff appearance in the last 13 seasons. In Jacksonville, because only 3 playoff appearances since 2000. That's when I was in Buffalo. Since Jacksonville has finished last in the AFC South 3 straight seasons and 4 of the last 5 seasons in the weird or weak division, Jacksonville needs more than wins. They need to start to build this culture. And I'm sorry, Gardner Minshew, you could play, but you are not the key element to building a culture. You know why? Because I saw you have your moment. I've been down the Minshew road. I remember you weren't the most mature guy in that moment, too. The mania. I'm sorry, Minshew mania. Remember Minshew mania, y'all? When this dude was a little more concerned about how many buttons he should open up when he got off the airplane instead of just how he gonna lead this team to victory. That's what I saw. A team that didn't have a culture builder. They had a guy that could go out there and play some football, but you need more than that, especially when you're talking about the Jacksonville Jaguars and their history. Now, If you look at it, we don't know what kind of player Trevor Lawrence is going to be in the NFL, but we know what the projections are. And, Bucky, that's when I got to push back on you, because I've been there, too, where Coach put the tape on your helmet and Coach act like he don't know who you are and you got to prove yourself. That's a damn lie, because some guys are just slotted in. We just doing that for theatrics. Be real about this. I got drafted in the second round, had one of the worst training camps probably in NFL history, because I'm coming from Columbia to the NFL. You want to talk about a leap? I didn't know what I was doing, and all I kept hearing was, "Oh, Wiley, I see you, man. You're coming along. You're doing just fine." Because they already had it slotted how it was going to play out. Meanwhile, other guys who out there killing it, but not the same draft position, you know where they ended up? Working at FedEx, probably at Amazon right now. Point being, they know how this game goes. So you better respect how the game goes and give Trevor Lawrence his props.
No, we can't just hand it to him. And here's what I would say.
He don't earn it.
No. He didn't earn it on the field yet. Whatever you come in the draft is pole position. What you get in terms of the starting lineup is how you do it on the field. And you have to remember, what Urban Meyer is doing is out here trying to create a new culture. And part of that new culture is, hey, we're trying to win everything. They have certain days that are designated winners and losers, where they are competing one-on-one and they're keeping score. And the score is announced over the PA system. So when you create a culture like that, where everyone is working, knowing that everything counts and you're graded on every performance, you just can't gift the rookie the starting job. And so they are keeping up with everything. Everything is tracked and monitored. And when Trevor Lawrence does enough and puts enough pelts on the wall to be the starting quarterback, that's when Urban's going to do it. But I'm going to tell you, spoiler alert, I believe that Trevor Lawrence is going to be the starting quarterback.
Yeah.
I have a sneaky suspicion that he's going to be the starting quarterback at some point. But he has to go through it. He has to do the rite of passage. We talked about it. We all have to do certain things to get to the other side. Trevor Lawrence has to make sure he does all the right things to get the other side of being the starting quarterback in Jacksonville.
But, Bucky, the reason either I disagree with you or I disagree with the customary rite of passage is this. To say that Trevor Lawrence has to earn it is implying that Trevor Lawrence has to outperform Gardner Minshew over the course of, call it, 12 preseason series. What if he doesn't? What if Trevor Lawrence has 2-3 bad games, right? His first time playing in the league. You saw Mac Jones yesterday. His first 5 passes were low, probably preseason jitters. What if he doesn't? What if Gardner Minshew outperforms Trevor Lawrence in the preseason? Is Gardner Minshew going to start week 1? Absolutely not. So to name Trevor Lawrence in a competition when, regardless, he is going to start is being worthless with your words. And thus, if your team can't believe what you're saying, Urban, in regards to that competition, can they believe what you're saying in regards to anything else? Because if you're telling me Trevor Lawrence got to earn something, then what happens if he doesn't earn that thing? Will he not be given it? All of a sudden, Gardner Minshew outperformed him, so Gardner's starting? That's not true. That's not how it's going to work. So now Urban might end up lying to his team. So for the sake of Trevor Lawrence going through the rite of passage, now you, Urban, who is coming from college, and NFL players are already looking at you like, I know he was a good college coach, but like this the league now. We making more than you actually. Shoot, I ain't playing for free no more. Now your players are questioning your words all because you want to make Trevor Lawrence go through the rigors. I'm just not with that, Bucky Brooks.
Exactly. And think about it, man. You said it as well as I said it, that Urban Meyer's trying to build a culture. You got to build a culture with the proper leader. I'm sorry, Gardner Minshew, but you can't be our leader. We need a leader, not a mascot. And that dude took that moment and ran with it in a different direction than I want my team to follow. That's why it didn't translate to wins, because it was just like, oh, I got my numbers. I'm going to unbutton my shirt. I'm going to get in these magazines. And it was like, wait a minute. Make a Pro Bowl first before you start talking about a mania. Respect the real manias out there, like Hulkamania and Hulkamaniacs, bro. Oh, yeah. Like, respect that. Shout out to Randy, man. All right, here's the thing. I don't like the fact that this is even a competition because, like Acho said, Coach, I'm believing in you. Don't make me not. Don't make me start looking at your words second. Like, what are you really saying? Because in performance, I'm not just going to reward a fast starter. That's why I hated the preseason in terms of really job competition.